Running your own business can be lonely, finding reliable professionals difficult, and generating new business challenging, but not when you have a business network. NewGen Networking provides its members with new and exciting business opportunities, with the chance to build lasting relationships with vetted businesses who can act as your sales team and solve the issue of who to turn to in your hour of need. With a range of flexible and affordable solutions, NewGen apply tried and tested principles in a modern way to suit today's world. To find the right option for your business, visit newgen-networking.com or call 03333 600 680. NewGen Networking. New business, new contacts, a new generation of networking. You're listening to the NewGen podcast exclusively on the Pod Station. Here is an interview with one of our members from the Vinci Hub.
This week we have Richard Wiltshire from Direct Cleaning. So a round of applause, please. So Richard, affectionately known in the group as Richie, so I'm going to call you Richie going forward. Just as a little, and I know we've had a chat before, and there's a few specific things, but niche markets you want to talk about today. But just as a sort of to start, can you just a little bit about what you've been doing recently and where you're up to?
We're a cleaning company. We're based in Bromborough, and we provide a whole host of cleaning services, from window cleaning, carpet cleaning, pressure washing, office cleaning, gutter clearing. I've been really busy the last month learning ballroom dancing for a charity event that I'm doing at a Titanic Hotel next week. But today I want to talk about hoarding.
You've been doing a lot of work with hoarding clearances and such things. So can you just tell us how you got involved in that?
So we sort of fell into it in 2018. I set up the waste side of the business, and when I was advertising it all over social media, a friend of mine, Tony, contacted me. He was a hoarding specialist for a housing association based in Liverpool. He requested that we started carrying out hoarder clearances because the company they were using like a transit van, and they were having to do multiple loads, so we seen the size of our van and he thought it'd be a good idea to get us in to carry them out. This then led on to carrying out deep cleans for them, with us being a cleaning company. So working for housing associations, there's an actual fact that social housing and mental health are closely linked. People with mental health are more likely to live in poor housing, social housing, council type properties, poorer environments. These properties often have issues which in turn affect mental health. They can't afford gas, they can't afford electric, so they're living in cold conditions, they have mould and also nightmare neighbours. This then leads on to their mental health spiralling out of control, which might lead on to hoarding. The general care of themselves decreases. Some of these properties that we go to, it's really not nice conditions to work in. The pay is great, which is quite rewarding for us. But something I'm really passionate about working in. One of my values is to try and help people. So,
and you've got some facts and figures, haven't you, on how it's affecting people mental health wise?
When you hear the facts, I predict we'll be carrying out a lot more of this work in the future. A lot more people are suffering mental health. So 1 in 4 people in the UK suffer mental health. In the UK there's currently £13 billion being spent on mental health per year, and the average suicide per year for people who've been in touch with mental health authorities is around 1,600 a year. So it's nice to try and help these people, and it might save them taking their lives.
And do you need any sort of special training, qualifications in the company if you just to get into this?
Initially when we began doing these, we carried out a bit of research on PPE and stuff and what was expected to comply, but I just didn't feel confident after doing the first few. Wasn't quite sure of the risk involved to an extent, so I needed to know how to minimise risk of exposure and the infections involved. So I enrolled on the biohazard trauma crime scene cleaning course run by National Academy of Crime Scene Cleaners, which was a massive eye-opener. We learned essential safety precautions, learned correct procedures, we were left open to catching diseases such as impetigo, scabies, hepatitis A, B, C, body lice and TB. So we also found out that we needed inoculations and vaccines from the doctors to prevent us from catching these. From the course we learned about how to fog, disinfect, sanitise, killing all the germs in these properties, the types of bacteria that were present. Obviously when you're hoarding rubbish and food and things like that, you're going to get pest infestation. So we learned about controlling things for rodents, fleas, insects, bugs, using insecticides and flea bombs, etc. We also joined organisations which are there for hoarders. One of them is called hoardingdisorders.org. I've been on a few of their webinars where they teach you insights into why people hoard, how it affects them, and you learn about treatments to try and combat hoarding.
It's obviously quite a specialist area then, really, isn't it? From just doing where people maybe just think you're doing window cleaning.
I would say now after 3 years,
market, isn't it?
After 3 years now, I would class ourselves as specialist order clearers.
Right.
We're fully compliant. We have all the correct waste licences, the correct procedures to dispose of hazardous waste and general mixed waste. We're fully compliant with all the paperwork. All our staff are fully trained in dealing with biohazard and the risks involved in cleaning the trauma sort of cleans. And we've got an understanding, being part of the hoarding organisation, and how to deal with the hoarders, because they can be quite unpredictable on the jobs. I mean, we turn up to some jobs and we have to walk away because they're not ready for it mentally. Some of them start freaking out while we're there. We're trying to take their possessions that they've been building up for years, and they lose the plot. So we have to sort of go outside and take 20 minutes, sort of let the housing officers sort of chat with them and things. So
I mean obviously they mentioned before there's there's a programme on the TV, isn't it? So I always find when you watch that it's quite surprising. I mean, is there any sort of signs, or you might be living next to someone who does that, or any sort of specific things that you can look out for, really?
There's a tool that you can use. So if any of your family are dealing with mental health, you'll see it on the tables there. It's a clutter rating image. This is a tool that helps standardise definitions of clutter by showing a series of images from 1 to 9. It depicts rooms of various stages of clutter. This allows the client, housing officer or another observer to select the image on the scale that best corresponds with the state of the main rooms in your home. A lot of these housing associations that we work with, the neighbourhood teams also work with social services. So if anyone is suffering with poor mental health, so they're having difficulty cooking, cleaning, washing, you can request a care assessment from social services. Right. And then they can put you in the direction of the council, and there is funding available for help with for hoarding.
Right, okay. So how do you think the people here today and within you, what sorts of people can we help? I know obviously that's a main area you're working in, but there's other things you do as well.
A lot of people like to keep it private. I mean, there might be people in this room that hoard. We were doing a job yesterday, and you could see in the house next door that the dining room at the front of the house was hoarded property, the back garden, there was pallets, and it was just all overgrown and stuff. But introductions to social workers, charities like Age Concern, Mind. If anyone's got any contacts in housing associations, if you've got any friends or family that are dealing with mental health, often people with mental health won't invite you around to the properties and things because they might be hoarding, because they're living in squalor and stuff. Environmental health councils, animal welfare teams, and also fire services, they go around and have to do safety checks and things.
I know you a chance to mention your ballroom dancing as well, and I think it would probably help. What's that about that you're doing?
It's actually for Mind, Widow Mind, and Shelter, which deals with homelessness. It's on the 19th of March at the Titanic.
We can pay to stop you dancing.
Apparently, yeah. It'd be nice to raise the money so they don't have to dance.
Brilliant. Okay. Does anyone have any other questions or anything?
What's the worst thing you've ever dealt with, like in terms of like filth and stuff like that?
Generally,
outside of a crime scene.
The telly programmes that you see, they deal more with like obsessive compulsive hoarder problems. And the ones that we deal with, it's more chronically disorganised hoarding. So a lot of these properties that we go to, they're living in I mean, there's some that we go around, they've got bottles full of piss. There's shit, there's animal feces. It's absolutely disgusting. But we're actually in talks now with the producers of Hoarders on Channel 5, so we could be appearing in the summer.
Richard, noticed on social media there's an awful lot of fly tipping suddenly appearing again.
Yeah.
I know that obviously keep on trying to recommend you to people who flag it up, but why do you think it's become a problem so recently?
The costs involved in waste removal. Even the councils are now charging the tips. Well, I know Cheshire West are for rubble and plasterboard sort of. They're charging about £4 a bag. So the cost, it's a very expensive. People see us, they don't see the other avenues that the waste has to go through to dispose of it. We take it to a waste transfer site with our vans full of mixed waste. They're then having to split all that waste and send it to different places to get further recycled or disposed of at landfill.
There's a lot of companies who say they can clear as well, and they can't, can they? So they'll go and collect your stuff and then they go and dump it.
Yeah, I constantly bang it all over social media, but 99% of the people that we do waste jobs for, they don't ask for a waste transfer note. We don't actually have to give it by law for a domestic job.
Right.
For commercial, we do have to give a waste transfer note, but no one ever has to see our waste transfer licence. No one has to see a waste transfer note. And if you're using someone, obviously people go for the cheapest per person, and these are the ones that are just fly tipping down the lanes.
I've got a question. So you can get where like a skip can't. If a skip can't get in, you can get there, like maybe a flat or something.
Obviously, for a lot of disabled people, elderly, that might struggle with removing waste, it doesn't necessarily have to be where they can't get a skip. We do all the heavy lifting for them.
Rich, is there anything you can't move, or can you move pretty much?
We're not allowed to dispose of like gas canisters, tyres they don't like. I don't know why, because they can get recycled into like playground sort of safety flooring, can't they? But they don't tend to like them for some reason. Asbestos, you need to be specially trained, so try to avoid that.
You've done a number of waste collections for me, Rich, and one of the massive pluses for using Richard's firm is that they will actually collect all the waste that's around a property. So when you get a skip, you'll have to employ labourers or whatever to move that stuff. Rich brings his own guys, so there's a massive cost saving there, and of course it's very easy to have the waste removed. It's done and quickly done. But just as a kind of reference to Rich's professionalism, I'm doing a job at the moment where there's stuff which could be described as a biohazard, and it's being bagged up and it needs to be removed by the correct waste removers. And I asked Rich, and he actually pointed me in the direction of someone that's like asbestos. He won't just take it and bang it in the skip. It's got to go in the right place. So I definitely recommend Richard for the professionalism where that's concerned. You won't be getting this stuff coming back to you because it hasn't been placed in the correct place. That's it. Thanks.
Okay, thanks very much.
Going on from what Tony said, I'm conscious. I mean, you could bang it in your waste van, but then poor lads at the waste transfer site who are sifting through it all, they don't want to be putting their hand in
No.
feces or whatever. So
Can we have a final round of applause for Richie, please?
If you would like to visit one of our online or face-to-face hubs, visit NewGen-Networking.com and book a place. Get social at Network NewGen on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn.